Bull and bear markets, that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a company that is seriously affected by bears, attacked by bears.
Yeah, and why we're going to talk about it, because the whole market and the journalists talk about it, we're on a bear market, this is bulls,
Yeah.
but everybody screams and uses
I think they
the
say
term.
that a lot at the office of where I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but there it's for sure it's true. But we're going to take a deep dive about the bear market, and we do it with the S&P 500. We have interesting data in front of me, and there is a conclusion, and that's different. I think it's different that you will think up front, but it's really interesting, if I may say so.
I think so, yes, I think so. Especially the conclusion and the end, I like it.
Thank you.
Because I know already what he's going to say. When we look at this company, why do I want to talk about it? Because it's not something that we're really excited about, but his clients ask me about it, say, well, and it's hot on social media. And why is it hot on social media? Because Cathie is a lot on social media. So a lot of people hear about it because she's very active on social media. But she has a company called ARK Invest. And
what does it stand for?
I don't know.
ARK.
Alternative Rich Kingdom. I don't know. No, but why is she so interesting? Because last year she managed to make a profit of 149%, which is extremely. And what is she doing? She has 9 ETFs in the market, which the most known one I think is the ARK, the RKK. This is the ARK Innovation ETF, and she had a lot of investments and still has in companies like Zoom, Coinbase, Square, nowadays Block. Tesla is one of our largest positions. Well, we all know what's going on with Tesla now. So Exact Sciences, very much into the technology, the disruptive technology. And of course, until December last year, that was booming, that was great. She made a lot of money for a lot of clients, but then some sort of reason, well, we all know what happened, the interest rates started to go up, and since February, the fund has come in a free fall. And in free
the
fall,
fund, you mean
the
with
results.
different ETFs?
Or? All the different ETFs.
Yeah.
So 9 ETFs, they're all down on average 50%,
Poor.
even more. And if you compare that to the market, the Nasdaq is down 32%. So the RKK has gone down from 28 billion of assets in it up till today about 6. So
28 billion to 6 billion.
To 6 in just one of the ETFs. I think in total she had approximately 100 billion, and
it's not the half.
yeah, she lost enormous. No, sorry, actually I have the facts here. I'm making this up. I'm not doing this correctly. She had 60.1 billion at the beginning of the year, and at this moment all the 9 ETFs together is 11. And then the one that is the biggest one is in this case the RKK.
And we pre-discussed it, but I'm now thinking, who are their clients? And who I know retail investors, so we know them. Yeah. But I think with this amount of money, they also have a lot of institution clients. No?
Yeah, but I think with 11 billion left of it, I don't think there's so much left of the institutional investors anymore.
No.
I don't know. I think in
and they don't come back.
No, they don't come back. They don't trust it anymore. And yeah, what is she saying is that like basically invest in companies that sacrifice short-term profits to make a long-term exponential growth. And she was right with that with Tesla, of course, because Tesla was losing money, losing, and then all of a sudden it started.
But she's not saying that for the first time this year.
No, well, that is what that people are really criticizing her for now, is that she came up with this statement now, and she's trying to bend straight what's bent, what's wrong. So, yeah, it's not good. And the only thing that might be able to help her is a change in the inflation trend, that we go back to lower inflation and we go back to like lower interest rates. For these companies, of course, they're very capital intensive. They need a lot of money. They need to have a lot of loans, and they pay much more.
For example, Zoom, that is a company that's, of course, I think we both think it's a product that is less used than during COVID.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the valuations during COVID, they were enormously.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
She had completely the COVID excitement in that stock.
We looked at it because a lot of people were interested in it and invested in it, and I don't remember the figures anymore, but it was like 100 times the profit.
Yeah.
So why you keep something in your portfolio with such price
I don't
earnings?
know. I mean, I can some sort of like understand that you defend Tesla. Okay.
Yeah,
I believe in this and but Zoom. I mean, honestly, we have Microsoft Teams and it works absolutely perfect. Yeah. And it's easy. You don't need to sign up for it. You send the client or somebody a link, and you click on it and you're in the meeting.
Yeah.
With this, you need to send, you need to register. It's much more complex. It's about user friendliness and the competition with, for instance, Zoom, which is their largest holding. I don't see
she
it.
has such companies in her ETFs.
And that you keep defending them.
Yeah.
It's not. That doesn't. I don't like it. If you look at the analyzed 5-year return, what I do like is she still has 8% on average, which is in all fairness pretty okay.
And that I think she uses in social media, no?
Yeah,
on social media
yeah. And and the inflow, of course, this year is not only money going out, there's also new money coming in. It's about 1.5 billion. So she's still trying to. After a speech that she gave in May, for instance, $658 million were transferred in. So some sort of. She managed to convince.
Can you speak for us one time?
Yeah, that would be nice. yeah. So yes, it's a difficult one, ladies and gentlemen, and I think.
Be careful.
Be careful with it. You have, of course, a basket, so the whole basket needs to go bust. But on the other hand, ARK Transparency ETF, an ETF that she brought out this year in February, she pulled the plug in September. So it can also happen here, and then you don't have the upside
I think
potential.
it's also strange to to put in your name transparency. So the other ones are not transparent.
The ARK Transparency ETF.
So the other ones are not transparent.
It's about transparent stocks, I think. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even look at it.
No.
But I
You're not that positive, Martin.
No, I'm not. And there's no reason to be, I think.
Okay. So
Bull and bear.
I think that was a bearish story.
Yes, very bearish.
And what I said, it's a lot of used in the media. Bear market. This stock is in a bull market. So if we go one step back, when are we talking about the bear market? And there are no fixed rules. So there is not something like, okay, this, for example, this is when are you talking in the US about a drop in the economy? Then you can say, okay, you have the figures. For this is not. There are mainly.
The recession, you mean? The recession is also.
Yeah, sorry. For example.
No, it's fine.
Thank you. 3 main arguments. The first one is that when a stock or an index is lower, 20% lower than the highest point, then you talk about a bear market. Then it goes into the bear market. Then also a group says, okay, but we look at the top and the bottom for over the last 52 days. And if you look, for example, at the Securities and Exchange Commission, they said, okay, but we only look at the period at least 2 months. So if something drops, especially with stocks, it's of course, more important than with an index, and it comes up, then that happens within 2 months, then it's not a bearish sign for that underlying value. And the 2 months, I think, is not that important. The 20% I do agree, but the 52 days I don't agree. And why? Because on the other hand, when are you talking about a bull market, that's when something recovers from the lowest point 20% higher.
Yeah.
And then, for example, keep in mind, something drops from 100 to 10, and then it goes up with 5%, 10%, and then a year later again with 10%, and a year later again, until 10,000. So then if you look at the lowest point in the last 52 days and the moment where you are at that moment, that's not 20%.
10%.
Yeah, 10% and not 20%.
So it's not a bull market.
Yeah, you're still in the bear market. So you grow slowly, and then still you think you are in a bear market. So I don't agree with the 52 days.
It's not so that there's different time frames. It's always 52 days. That's
a lot of people use the 52 time frames, but I think you should not do it. And that's why I gave the example with the recovery, because the decreasements are faster. So the 52, it's that's not the issue with the bear market, mostly with the bull market. Now, why is it called bear market? Why is it called bull market, Martin? Explain it, please, one more time.
Well, what is a bull doing when he attacks a Spanish guy that runs through the streets? He kicks him on the horns, right?
Yeah.
He throws them up.
Yeah. And what does the bear?
I don't know, you tell me, you're more like a bearish.
The bear goes up, he stands in front of you, and he attacks.
Oh, don't scare me here.
He goes down.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it's the bull and the bear.
Yeah.
The biggest one was almost 100 years ago, 1929.
Yeah.
In 4 years, the S&P 500, the US stocks lost 90% of the value.
90%.
Wow. And then if you look at some averages,
The big recession, no?
yeah. That's a really that was.
You know,
a big,
just going to say something. I heard this morning. This is the longest period of a recession alarm. That the 2-year yield is above the 10-year yield.
really.
Yeah, not in 2007, 2008, not in 2000. So be warned.
Yeah, and I have something about that also. If you look at some averages over the last 92 years, and with averages it's always, what was the average temperature of last month is different than 1 year.
Yeah,
so
of
you
course.
have always taken consideration what's the
Definitely,
period.
100%.
But 92 years, it's quite something. So in this case, it goes back to 1920. So in that averages are also the big drops of 1929. Then you see that the bear markets lasts on average a year, 363 days, and the bull market 1742 days.
It's about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
And that's also what I want to close down with, and also the conclusion. On average, in a bear market, the S&P 500 drops 33%. On average, in a bull market, the S&P 500 increases with 159%. So if you know when you are from entering a market, I'm going to talk about it, and if you look at the 92 years, around rounded up figures, 21 years there are bear markets, and 71 years are bull markets. So on average, from the 92 years, 71, around 71, 72, you are in a bull market, and 21 you are in a bear market. That's positive, no?
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Yeah, except when you're a short seller, then it's
not good.
Then that also explains why if you go short, but if you go short, do it shortly. And over that period, there were 26 bear markets and 27 bull markets, but only from the 26 bear markets, there were 15 recessions. So almost half of them.
Yeah.
So a lot of time.
I'm filtering in the data and do that the same because
there were no, so that you were in a bear market and no recession.
No, it doesn't need to happen.
No. Okay. Well, Okay. Now, what's the S&P 500 now? The beginning of this year, the S&P 500 rounded figures 4,800 points. 20% of that is 960. So that's around 3,840. Okay. So did it enter the bear market? Yes, it entered the bear market on the 13th of June because then it was lower than the 3,840. So are we in a bear market?
Yes.
Yes. Because what was the lowest point? That was around 150 points lower, 3,585. That was the lowest point on the 14th of October. And so if you want to calculate if you are back in the bull market, 20% higher than the 3,585 is 4,300, and we are at the moment at 3,850.
Still,
so we are still in a bear market.
We're at the level actually where we went into the in the bear market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're on the same level. So we went from here, whoop, down in the bear market, lower, and we are now on the same level.
I would, if you then would come to your next point.
Cathie would?
No, Cathie would not, but I would think it's more logical to say, okay, the moment you cross back the level where you went into a bear market, that's when the bull market starts, for instance. Because if you say, okay, we're going long 25% above the lowest point, you miss like 25%, which is a hell of a lot of profit.
Yeah, okay, but so this data is, what can you do with it?
Nothing.
Not a lot.
No, because what I'm saying is you lose 25% of potential.
Yeah. If we go back, I mentioned it already, the average percentage that the S&P 500 goes down from the highest point is 33%, 32.7%, 32%. So that means that on average, in the last 92 years, that it goes down, on average, 33%, and then it went up, on average. And I have here the averages, so you can also see there were years, the bad year, the most ugly year was in 2008, the market went down with 56%. But on average, can you say, okay, it goes down to 33%, and then it goes up. And everybody's looking always for the lowest point, and on average, now, the lowest point from the highest point is 33% lower. That's what you know.
That's clear.
So
yeah.
if you and the 20 and before that you have the 20%. So if you say, okay, we're now going into a bear market. Oh, okay, I'm going to sell. No, you're too late because
You're too late, yes.
you're 20% too late, and then on average you have only 33%. So on average, better start buying on 20% lower, and you can buy a lot on 33%.
Yeah.
And if you then go back, the last
statistically proven.
Statistically, yeah, and it can be this year completely different. And if you go back, the bull market, if you remember, it exists for on average a year. So it entered on 13th of June. So we have still in next year probably some.
That's what everybody says. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you listen to podcasts and stuff, and you or analysts to say, yeah, we expect the next 6 months still, but it's just because they base themselves on these facts.
Yeah, and then have you that, but also I don't want to scare people. On average, you should go still lower to. I don't know what is the. I didn't calculate that one, but the 33% of the 4,800. On average, that's the lowest point, and it will happen from somewhere today until the 13th of June.
Possible.
No, the 13th of June, that's already then.
This is food for over the Christmas table.
Yeah, but then you so keep in mind if you are sitting at the Christmas table and nobody knows anything to talk about, and then you say, okay, when should you buy? What's the lowest point of the stock market? Is there a bell going off? Yes, it is going on. On average, 33% lower than the highest point. We didn't reach that.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and give us your thumb or put the
thumb up.
Subscribe if you want to see our next video, because next week we're gonna look back on the last year, but also look forward. But we do it in a different way. I think. I hope.
Thank you for watching.